This video focuses on both meanings of board games: games on a whiteboard or blackboard, and tabletop board games. Hitting letters and words. One of the most straightforward kinds of games on the board is to have letters, words, or pictures on the board, and for children to take turns to throw a sticky ball, a beanbag, or something soft at the board. At a basic level, the children can just identify whatever they hit. Say a word starting with a letter they hit, or say another word from the same phonics family as the word or picture they hit. Alternatives are to collect letters to spell words, or collect words to make sentences, or collect words and then sort into phonics families. Teams can also play against each other. One team can try to hit all the words from one phonics family, try to hit only animals or something like that, and the other team can have a different objective. Relay spelling games. In these kinds of games, each team races to spell a word, letter by letter, or write a sentence, letter by letter or word by word, on the board. The children can simply race to the board, write a letter, and then race back and tag another member of their team, who then races to the board. Alternatively, the game can be made more elaborate by getting the children to first touch one or more walls of the class, or touch a picture of the word somewhere in the room before racing to the board to write the next letter. Or they can do something like keep a balloon in the air on the way to the board, or pass a ball under and over members of their team before racing to the board. Another fun variation is for a team of children to pass a ball or soft animal around with music playing. When the music stops, whoever has the ball or animal races to the board to write the next letter. Hangman. I don't think the traditional version of the game with somebody being hung should be played. The same kind of game can be played, but with a different scoring system. In this game, one child secretly thinks of a word and indicates how many letters there are in the word by writing dashes on the board, and the other children guess letters in the word. If a guess is correct, the child at the board writes the letter in the right space in the word. If a guess is incorrect, she draws part of an animal, an alien, or some other picture. The children try to guess the word before the picture is complete. When the children are ready, I play a version of this game with longer sentences. If the sentence is long, I don't usually have a picture scoring system. The children just take turns to call out letters. Here's an example. Elephant. Apple. Tiger. Dog. Can you guess? Nut. Mouse. Ring. Can you guess? Notice how this kind of game draws the children in. As I discussed in the child-centered learning videos, mystery is much more engaging than clarity. Notice also that the children are calling out the letters using their phonic pronunciation. They may just say or say apple. It depends on what they are used to. Of course, at first, I would use simpler sentences than in my example. It could be something like, elephants are big. I like apples. I get up at 7 o'clock. And the children can take turns to make puzzles with similar sentences. Mastermind. One child secretly thinks of a word and stands at the board. Other children try to guess the word. The child at the board indicates how many letters are correct. For example, if the child at the board secretly thought of a horse and another child writes tiger, the child at the board would write 2 lines or 2 circles to indicate that 2 letters are correct, the E and the R. There are lots of variations of this game. One is for the child at the board to start by indicating how many letters there are in the word. In the case of horse, she would write 5 dashes. Another variation is to have one symbol such as a circle for a letter in the correct position in a word, and another symbol such as an X for a letter in the wrong position. The possible words can also be narrowed down by restricting them to words from a choice of phonics families, having a theme such as animals, or having a clue based on a pattern the children are learning, such as it's bigger than a dog, or it can run fast. Tabletop games. Simple, turn-based tabletop board games can be a great way to learn phonics, especially games where children use a dice to move around a board. One way to play is for the squares on the board to have language targets in them. Another way is to have a pile of cards next to the game. Each child turns over the top card, performs a language task, then rolls a dice and moves her piece around the board. I think it is important that moving the piece does not depend on the language task. If a child cannot complete the task, either you or the other children can give hints until she succeeds. As I have mentioned before, it is best if winning or losing the game depends only on the luck of the dice, not on English ability. I will give some examples of board games that work well for learning phonics. All of these games are free downloads. I will give links to where you can download games like these in the description below this video. I also use similar digital games, or invite children to bring their favourite games of this kind from home. Snakes and ladders. I am sure you know this game. When a child finishes a turn at the bottom of a ladder, the child's piece is moved to the top of the ladder. When a child finishes a turn at the head of a snake, the child's piece is moved to the end of the tail of the snake. Soccer. The children play in pairs or teams. Place a ball or chip on the soccer ball in the centre. If the red team starts, the red player throws the dice and moves the ball towards the blue goal. The blue player then throws the dice and moves the ball towards the red goal. If the ball lands on a player from the same team, the team throws again. To score a goal, the ball must land exactly on the opposing player's goal. If the ball goes further than the goal, there is a goal kick. The opposing player puts the ball on their goal and throws the dice twice. When playing, a child reads every word as she passes over it. Race games. In these kinds of games, children take turns to throw a dice and race around a track. On some special squares, a child may have to move her piece back or miss a turn. The usual way to play is that she needs to land exactly on the finish square in order to win. How many squares can you get? There are a number of games of this kind, each with a different theme. Each child can play with their own board, or a group of children can play together on the same board. Each child takes turns to throw a dice. If she throws a 4, she places a chip on a square with 4 dots and performs a language task for that square. The aim is to have as many chips on the board as possible before throwing 4 sixes. Collect 10. There are also a number of games of this kind. The aim is to collect 10 of whatever is in the title of the game. For example, in the game 10 Bananas, the aim is to collect 10 bananas. Each child puts a piece on start and takes turns to throw a dice. When she lands on a banana, she completes a language task and gets 1 chip. On certain squares, she may lose a chip. Find a way through. There are also various games of this kind. Each child puts her piece on start, and the children take turns to throw a dice. She follows the direction on the board indicated by the number on the dice and tries to reach the finish. I will introduce more games in the next video.